Hello and welcome to the first episode of Hypixel After Hours. Today we're going to be discussing the recent thread of tweets made by Jawsh regarding stan culture. Buckle up because it's going to be a bumpy ride on today's episode of Hypixel After Hours. Okay, so a small YouTuber known as Jawsh made a series of tweets addressing his views on stan culture. This seemed to directly call out Dream SMP stans. This is the tweet. If you are a stan, a part of a Twitter group, or participate in any activities associated with the culture, please unfollow. I cannot tolerate it any longer and wish to have nothing to do with it. I don't care if it has to do with me or somebody else. The culture is toxic. Every experience I've ever had with the community is negative. I am sick of looking at Instagram and seeing that I am tagged in yet another edit made with some garbage phone app. I am tired of random people obsessing over me, and more so, obsessing over people such as Dream. Okay, so I really don't think anyone is making edits of Jawsh.
Wait till you see the. No, 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 no. Look at the top of his head.
Anyways, back to the tweet. These people are unwell mentally. Their obsessions with online personalities only amplify this. They are immature and easily influenced. Their principles and views are never their own, but are rather those of various content creators which they watch. They are a malicious hive mind who exist in a bubble in which immoral actions are taken by an individual simply because their moral frame of reference is people who do similar things. Their worldview is completely insane and gets exponentially worse because of it. Okay, so Jawsh seems to think that all stans are completely brainless and can't think for themselves. Stans do not follow every order of their idol and can think for themselves. While most influencers have significant influence over their audience, this does not mean full and total hive-mindedness. He also seems to think that Dream and others have malicious intent with their stans, either to tell them to do something or to get them to believe something crazy. Dream and others have no malicious intent, and even if they did, the worst they could do is crash a website or a Minecraft server, and if they did this, they would most likely receive backlash from some of the community. Anyways, back to the tweet. Twitter has helped amplify this, as the platform has become overrun by this garbage. So please, if you're a part of any of these circles, I want nothing to do with you or your collective hive mind. It's disgusting. I believe primarily in the individual, and the culture individual does not exist in the collective that is the Stan or Twitter community. It is repulsive and entirely against my principles. If you are a part of one of these communities, I suggest you leave. Okay, so there is a lot to unpack here. The whole argument is based off his personal experience with stans, and honestly, I don't think he can speak on this matter. Now obviously, this is Twitter, where you're allowed to literally say almost anything, so I do not mean he literally is not allowed to speak on this matter, but rather that he lacks experience with stans, and he doesn't really fit into the stan community. I think this was put well by Dream himself. 90% of the time I see someone complain about stans, it's someone who either trashes or hates on the creator the stan likes, is making up a problem that doesn't exist, is extremely toxic, and obviously doesn't fit in, and they are usually much more of a nuisance. I think that in this case, the second and third apply to Jawsh. The second point is making up a problem that doesn't exist. It's true due to the fact that there was no real problem Jawsh was addressing. He just created a problem out of thin air. After stating his made-up issue, he proceeded to tear into stan culture with points that were completely absurd. The third point, in this Dream tweet, is extremely toxic and doesn't fit in, is also very true of Jawsh. He is extremely toxic, and especially does not fit into stan culture in the slightest. I think the main reason he started all this drama was to gain popularity by hating on something that his average demographic would also hate. Using Dream, one of the fastest growing Minecraft YouTubers, as a target really helped him gain popularity, because as you can see in Josh's Social Blade stats, before all the drama, he was gaining 1k subs every couple of days. Now he is gaining 1k daily. He also had a 300k view spike in the last couple of days. This whole situation was blown out of proportion because of a few toxic fans, and Jawsh seems to have generalized that all stans are toxic because of those few toxic ones. Before I wrap this up, I also wanted to show this great point made by Dream. You don't like the same things as them, and that's okay. Don't use the crimes of the few to punish the many. Stans, a group of people trying to meet other people with similar interests while expressing this interest through shared morals, love, and creativity. To generalize an entire culture of stans on a few toxic people is ignorant. The response. The response was generally positive from Jawsh's fans, but everywhere else it was very, very negative. Fans of the Dream SMP, whether they were a stan or not, agreed that Jawsh was absurd. I ask that if you like this video that you subscribe because it helps me reach a wider audience as I worked very hard on this video. Also, turn on the notification bell if you don't want to miss the next episode because we will be playing Bed Wars. That's it for me. Thanks again for watching and I will see you next episode. Bye!